So we have got Nay here for not only because she's just absolutely stunning and beautiful and has an amazing TWA, but also we wanted to talk to you about the conversation of mums dying in childbirth, and especially black mums, black women dying in childbirth. And there was a show.
Yeah.
Is it a show?
A documentary.
That's it.
The Black Maternity Scandal. Dispatches. Sorry, that was the wrong. Black Maternity Scandal dispatches, and discussing the disparity that black women are nearly 5 times, they're saying it's 4 times, but nearly 5 times more likely to die in or after childbirth than their white counterparts.
It's mad.
The the change in numbers, I saw that in the last couple of days, that over the last year, they've re-looked at the figures and the numbers and the statistics, and now they're saying that it's 4 out of 5. I mean, which is, if it can get better and that can go down rapidly, the sooner the better. That number can keep going down, but I hope that number is only going down it's going down for the right reasons, and not because there has just been so much publicity around it. What do you think about that?
This disparity has been going on for years, decades, and it's only been addressed properly now, mainly by a group an initiative called 5 Times More.
Okay. Yes.
So when they started it, it's 2 women, Chloe and I've forgotten the other girl's name. I'm sorry, forgive me. It's these 2 women. Chloe had a really bad experience with her first child. When she had her, and
she was on the show.
She was on the show, She was in the episode. And so when they first started, the number was 5 times more, and it's reduced marginally. It's like points. It's tiny, and
so it could be like 4.9.
Exactly, it's 4.7 or something.
Which we round up. In maths, we were taught to always round up.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, 5 times more sounds terrible, and obviously the government didn't want to deal with it at the time. The opening line of the documentary, have you seen it?
Yes, I have seen it.
Was, here's the data. We have no plans to address this target.
Yes. Wow. I actually wrote it, shamelessly, I wrote it in just because I couldn't believe the capacity of even just the, so disgusting. Do you think that now, as I say again, because of the publicity that's surrounding it now, that they are taking notice?
Well, they debated black maternal care for the first time ever in the UK in Parliament on the 16th of April.
Wow.
For the first time, and there were MPs who shared their experiences, shared their stories. There were some really touching stories in there.
Okay.
And they appealed to the government to do something about it.
Yeah.
Let's do something. And I honestly think this is the beginning of change.
Conversation is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And the thing is, what I've noticed, these disparities, this isn't only with childbirth. These are the same figures with cancer or with fertility. This is across the board.
Yeah.
These things aren't going away anytime soon. We think we're the generation that's dealing with it or going to deal with it, but we've had generations before us doing the same thing. We're moving. It's a marathon.
Yeah,
it's definitely not a sprint. But we have to start having these difficult conversations. But the reason I was on the show is because my sister Natalie died. It would be 7 years in July, shortly after childbirth, after having her daughter Chloe.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try not to cry today.
Yeah. Well, maybe if you cry, you cry. We all cry together.
It's just it's all love really for her, and I didn't want to do the show. I did
not.
No.
How did it all come about then?
So it presented itself 3 times to me, and each time I was just like, what my sister died of is something. It's rare. It's called an amniotic fluid embolism.
Okay.
So it's like an allergic reaction to the fetal matter in the amniotic fluid. Now, we can go along and have a baby, and you can have amniotic fluid in your system, and it wouldn't affect us. Yeah, it wouldn't affect us. But for some women, there's just this reaction, and it causes...
Does it cause the blood clots and you can have a heart attack?
Well, the first, it's in 2 stages. So the first stage is kind of you have a heart attack or your organs start to shut down. And if you survive the first phase, then that's a good thing. And she did survive the first phase. But the second phase is hemorrhaging, and it's hemorrhaging from everywhere.
Wow.
And they just couldn't stop the bleeding with her, and they tried to save her for...
Babe.
Sorry, I'm silly.
You are not sorry.
I do this so much, and like I talk about her all the time. I love her so much. She's like my best friend in the entire world, and she deserves all of this. She deserves.
And this is why I've got a sister. We've got sisters. You know, we can't even. Your bravery is
so brave.
And I've said this to you before, and I know you say, you know, you've said before that you just have to be, but it's so inspiring to see. And even with the show that you're talking about, presenting it to yourself, because you are now having the voice for Nat, you know, and all the other women that have had to suffer this. So I think it's important, even as much as it does, you know, for you to get upset. You know, it wouldn't. You're human.
It's just it's trauma.
Yeah.
This is my trauma. It's the way, I don't know. It's just the crying. Like we were so close. And I know you're close to your sister.
You remind me so much of me, and you know, when you speak about that,
the relationship.
Remind me so much of me and Alicia.
Because we lived together most of our lives.
Yeah.
And we only moved out.
So what's the age difference between you
both? Should we stop holding your hand? Thank you, girl. Sorry.
Rochelle.
So there's 14 months between us.
So, wow, so you're really close.
Yeah.
Like nearly twins.
Yeah.
Sugar.
So she was, but she was the more mature one. She was always mature. Everyone thought that she was older than me.
You love that.
She hated that, but she was my go-to, like, for everything, because she knew she was so clever, and she was so bright and so mature, and so she just knew everything, and she was super popular.
Right.
We went to like a mainly white school, and you know she was the popular girl in her year, which is
Yeah.
I married half the school because I married my husband and I went to the same school, and there was like 10 black people and I married half of them, but because his brothers and his sisters are there, and so yeah, like when we knew how each other worked. It was a look, it was a glance, because we both know what each other's been through. We both know why we were at that point in our lives.
Of each other.
We're part of each other, finishing each other's sentences.
Can't. Yeah.
So yeah, and there's no, and my friends have been amazing. My husband's amazing, but there's no substitute for that relationship. There's no substitute for that
togetherness.
Love. Yeah. It's just we told each other we loved each other. Like we used to speak on the phone for no reason. Pick up the phone and how are we doing? Nothing. We doing. All right, love you. Bye. Like 10 times a day.
Yeah.
Oh, do you like this nail varnish? Yeah. She's the only person I'd pick the phone up to.
To anything.
Yeah. But yes, for anything. And there's a natural...
Anything and nothing.
Everything and nothing, exactly. And there's a natural flow in life, right? Your parents are not supposed to bury their children. You were supposed to go through this life with your siblings, and you see that through. And you know what I'm saying? I'm not minimalising the death of parents, but that's how you grow up with this natural flow. And we're supposed to go through life with this person, with my sister. And I didn't want to do the show because AFE is so rare. It's 1 in 50,000 births in 1 in 40,000 births in the US, 1 in 53,000 births in the UK it affects. And we always said it shows no bias. So it can happen to any woman.
Right.
But this is before me knowing, I'm not even thinking that that's us as black women, black and brown women, we were already predisposed to being 3-5 times more likely to die in childbirth anyway.
Before this even come into play.
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
and I wasn't thinking along those lines until afterwards. So there was that, and I was just like, oh no, it's rare, and oh God, do I really want to expose myself? Because I know I'm going to cry, because I cry all the time. I'm going to cry in front of everyone, and do I really want to do this? And then a girl I used to work with at Burberry, Sashi, she's like, oh, I know Rochelle, like, I could DM her, and I was like, I was like, you can, it's probably too late now. I know they've been looking for people. I was like,
so they'd approached you, you'd said no.
Yeah. Oh no, it was my friend. So someone said, Naomi, why don't you do this?
Right.
And why don't you do this? And I was it's like, no. Oh, yeah. I said I was too late. I said, and then I got an email from the producer. She said, oh, could I have a call with you? So we had it's not chief, sorry, because I work at Google. What's it called? We don't use.
What's that? What did you?
Not Skype, was it?
Oh, Zoom.
It's the rum.
That old thing.
It's the rum. Don't drink that old Zoom thing. So we had a Zoom and we chatted, and then I was like, oh yeah, I'm probably, we chatted for an hour. I was like, oh yeah, I'm probably not going to get it. And then she said, oh, we really like you. Can you,
Babe, how could they not?
How could they not?
Yeah, your whole,
But I was concerned because it's like, what my sister died of was not necessarily negligence from the hospital. There were some things leading up to it, but the whole point of the documentary was
particularly surround.
So I was like, you know what, but I will tell her story. So Rochelle came to my house. Rochelle Humes, came to my house, and we literally filmed for 5 hours. And I told Nats's story. I don't know how long 5 hours. 5 hours of talking.
We can do that.
Done that one before.
We went into,
especially if it's about something that's so, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. There were so many different things we spoke about, and when we were done and they were in the editing room, we found out we wanted to do an hour, but they only had half-hour slots, and there was a bit of feedback from people saying half an hour wasn't enough. We were just getting into it. But they were the only slots left, and it was timing as well, with 5 times more. Everything happens as it's meant to.
Yeah,
I do believe that with the parliamentary hearing. They mentioned the show 3 times in Parliament, in reference to starting to make change. And sorry, what was I? So we filmed for 5 hours, and then sorry, just to rewind. I've just been called to the AFE board as a director, so AMNIOTIC FLUID EMBOLISM board, as the only black woman.
That's amazing.
On the board.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
That's amazing.
I'm not one bit surprised, because even when I was looking at the website actually over the last couple of days, because they've got the pictures, haven't they, of people who've had experiences, and I thought I might see your picture, but I also know that so this doesn't surprise me at all.
They've been asking me to put my story up there, but
of course
I'm on there.
Right.
I'm on there somewhere.
Right, yeah.
But I know I need to share. Nat's story is shared on the 5 Times More website.
Okay. So you've now become the only black woman on the board.
On the board.
Cheers to that.
Thank you.
And you know, obviously it's off the back of a situation that you would never. You would literally. This is not a board that I want to be part of through my experience.
Yeah.
To do it maybe just because for other reasons, but for it to be through your experiences is quite something. But on the I guess on the back of that, and as you say, look, I'm literally choking. It's because I feel like it is so. I can only imagine it, but I think if it was for, God forbid, if it was for my sister, then I would feel just the same, that it has to be told, and people have to know. It's
doing something about it. This is me dealing with my grief.
Yes.
And grief is such a personal journey.
Keeping her alive.
Yeah, keeping her memory alive.
Yeah.
And I've been doing T-shirt sales of AFE Awareness Day, which is on the 14th of March. I might have got that wrong. I'm terrible with details. Every year they have AFE Awareness Day, so I'll be flogging T-shirts. This year was a mask
actually. As well, didn't you?
I've got a gift for you.
We love gifts. That's my second gift.
I'm like that. I'm taking it.
So this year we did a mask campaign.
I did.
Thank you.
And I sell them. Oh, you're welcome. No worries. I sold them, and I'm very lucky at Google. They will gift match. They will gift match whatever we raise, and so this year we raised $10,000.
That is amazing
For the AFE Foundation.